So we saw Sonic 2 twice in theaters.
Yay!
Worth it. And we're going to talk about it for a while. So the first part of this is going to be...
Don't you want to introduce us?
Hi, I'm Katie.
I'm Megan. And we saw Sonic 2 twice.
And only this coming weekend are they're like, if you see Sonic in theaters, we're going to give you this exclusive print. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to go see it a third time. Oh no.
But so sorry, I hated to interrupt you. But so the first portion of this is going to be spoiler free.
Spoiler free, and then after that we're gonna go a little nuts. But we will have a delineation between, okay, the spoilers start here. So like if you haven't seen it yet, that's fine. You're great for the first portion of this video, or for the whole thing if you don't care. Yeah. Now I'm tired. I'm like, this is great! I am so tired. This movie was so much fun. If you're a Sonic fan, you will love it. If you've seen the first movie and you enjoyed the first movie, you will love it. If you saw the first movie and didn't like it, why would you go to the sequel? And if you're not a Sonic fan at all, haven't seen the first movie, nothing, then I hope we entertain you.
I will say...
You will be a little lost.
If you watched the first movie and you didn't like it because you wanted more Sonic oriented, more Sonic game oriented stuff, then you will probably be pleased with the sequel, because for our second viewing we were definitely sitting next to two people who did not enjoy the first one but were having the time of their lives watching the sequel. Oh man.
Yep. Rowdy theater both times. It makes sense, though, that they would have waited after opening weekend to see what the consensus was.
Yeah, for sure.
Currently, it has a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes. Nice.
That can't be an accident.
And I feel
the internet
like
knows what it likes.
I feel like it's that weird mix of I wasn't here for this in the first place and I didn't enjoy this one, and like I've seen criticisms that the human characters didn't have enough to do, which is a lie.
I will say that, but yeah, there's a lot of discussion about, like, you know, different fan reactions versus critical reactions,
and even just fan expectations.
And look, there are going to be those conversations are going to pop up anytime a fandom-oriented anything makes its way to the big screen, because the same thing happened with Detective Pikachu. Critics were like, meh, but like, fans were like, this is lovely, this is and great. Super fun.
Where's the other one? There must be another one. Give me another.
And it's, you know, people are always going to get their feathers ruffled by one thing or another.
Yeah. And it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to like something. It's okay to not like something. It's not okay to tear other people up over a difference in opinions.
Yeah.
You just be kind and be respectful.
Yeah. And that goes for whether you loved it or hated it.
Exactly.
Like, don't be a jerk trying to shove your opinion down someone else's throat, or make other people feel like garbage for not either sharing in your love or sharing in your hate. That's unnecessary.
This is going to be a video about how much we liked it and why. So, like, if you're here to hear someone bag on the movie, find another video.
Go elsewhere. No,
everyone else, hey guys, we love this fucking movie. This was a blast.
This was a huge blast.
So good.
I just generally speaking, I do agree with the general critique that sometimes it feels like two different movies.
It definitely did when we really got into some of the human-centric stuff.
Yeah.
However, some of the human-centric stuff was some of the literal best stuff in the movie.
It was highly entertaining. It might have felt like it clashed a little bit, but it was highly entertaining, and the performances were top-notch.
Oh my god, the performances were really what made... And we'll talk about this a little bit later on, because the premise of this movie is that Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady, whose names we just looked up.
Tom and Maddie.
Thank you. They're the only two where I'm like, they have names. I know they have names, but I just remember the titles.
Well, it's hard, because, like, I always think of James Marsden, I'm like, Cyclops, and it's hard for me to separate that from any other role that he's done.
Of all the roles that you could have picked for James Marsden, you go with Cyclops.
Either that or I've been dreaming of a true love kiss.
Yes.
Anyway, that's beside the point.
Anyway, they are going to Hawaii for her sister's wedding, leaving Sonic alone in the house for the weekend. You know, he's going to watch the house, watch the dog, etc. And at the same time, Dr. Robotnik has gotten off of the Mushroom Planet and met Knuckles and is here to wreck shit and take ultimate power. So that's our premise. That's what we get from the trailers, you know, that's not spoilers. The human stuff we were talking about, the wedding. The wedding is absolutely amazing.
And I mean, they are in Hawaii. It does feel like the human characters are on an island unto themselves for a little while. Yeah. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because especially when it comes to like, this is a kid adventure movie where the kid happens to have superpowers, essentially, and it is a coming-of-age story, too.
And we have to introduce two new characters who fans of the franchise will know, but, like, you still have to have a solid introduction and solid characters. And they nailed it. So it makes sense to kind of, like, take the humans and put them on the shelf for the coming-of-age story, and also so we don't have to focus on them as much while we're working on introing Tails and Knuckles.
Tom has also had a completed character arc.
Yes.
So in order to get them more involved, you would have had to introduce a new arc for him to undergo.
Which he doesn't need.
Not at this particular time. Maybe in the third one. We'll talk about that later.
But that's going to be in the spoiler section.
The other thing I really appreciated about the human-centric stuff that they did is, and not getting into any spoilers, but they are clearly doing a lot of setup for the next film.
Yeah.
Which I very much appreciated for reasons we'll get into later.
Oh yeah. There's definitely, in terms of setting up for world building and meta plot and whatnot, there's definitely a lot in the human section that's worth paying attention to and needed to be there. But also just, I love Rachel. We had her be like this angry, suspicious person in the first movie, and she continues to be an angry, suspicious person, but now she's getting married and she has found someone that she wants to spend the rest of her life with. And so there's a twist to that, and we get to see a little more of her. And we also get to see her and Maddie working together as opposed to the at odds that they were in the previous movie and had to be at. So, again, some of the best parts of the wedding are the two of them together, watching the sisters go. It's incredible. So yeah, there's definitely good stuff to have in the human side of the movie.
Also, just complete sidebar, Tom and Maddie are adorable parents.
Oh my god, yes!
They're just very, very cute.
They are doing their best to parent this feral teenager that they have adopted.
They're cute as a couple. I think they have good chemistry. And then, yeah, they're adorable parents.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good. They're good. This is very much, it's about found family. It's a coming of age story. It's about responsibility. It's got several themes and they all weave together fairly well.
And I understand if you're not a fan of this setup, but that doesn't mean that the setup isn't executed really, really well. And for everybody making the argument that human stuff does not belong in Sonic the Hedgehog stories, I'm sorry, you've been wrong for over 20 years.
Human stuff doesn't belong. We've had human stuff in here. So did we miss the part where Robotnik is a human?
I understand.
For starters.
If the human stuff is not your favorite thing, because it has been done badly, Sonic 06 obviously is the go-to example. But
everyone watching this has flashbacks.
It's disingenuous to pretend like the human stuff hasn't been around for over 20 years and that it hasn't been impactful in terms of emotional storytelling. And again, we'll talk about that a little later.
I feel like you can also make a different franchise, similar idea. Transformers.
Yeah.
They don't always stick the landing with human characters, and it really depends on your medium. Like, God bless Bayformers, we had some good human stuff there and some stuff that was just like, oh boy. Then looking at Transformers Prime, the humans are part of the team and very much integral to story, plot, character, etc. And you can really root for the humans every bit as much as you can root for the bots.
So, a lot of times the enjoyment of any given bit of Transformers media rests on whether or not you enjoy spending time with those particular sets of human characters.
Because the humans are every bit as important when they're there.
Yeah, and when they're there. Sometimes they don't need to be, but when they're there.
And I mean, some Transformers franchises don't have them at all, and that's fine. Just jazz hands at Beast Wars. Beast Wars didn't need them. Beast Wars has a whole ass
Beast Wars had Dinobot. That show had everything.
And I think it was
sad.
It was early humans. Beast Wars was a wild one, y'all.
Oh my god.
Beast Wars had some moments.
We don't have time.
That's a different... You can commission us to talk about Beast Wars if you want to. I know someone else is already going, I might commission them for Armada. Good luck.
But to circle back, it's okay it's okay if you don't necessarily like it when Sonic stories dip their toes like into human characters, like the Sonic X. That was entirely about the cast, the Sonic cast interacting with people in a fish out of water scenario. Yeah. So again, it's disingenuous to pretend like that hasn't been a part of the franchise for a long, long time, guys.
It has always been a matter of execution. Mm-hmm. And even Sonic games that don't really deal with humans, it's also a matter of execution.
And
there have been some great ones that have human characters, and there have been some not great ones that don't. It's all, how well are you telling your story?
Yeah. Sonic X had episodes where it was done really well, and it had episodes where it was done really badly. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, I would argue, did it perfectly. Other games, not so much. Shadow the Hedgehog, for example, not so much. Sonic 06,
I feel like Shadow the Hedgehog should be up there with Sonic 06 in terms of we don't talk about Bruno. But because Sonic 06 went so completely buck wild by shipping him with a human teenager, that's the bit that sticks in everyone's mind. For good reason. And also the fact that the mechanics are garbage. But that's the big... Boy, we made some choices. Whereas Shadow was mostly storytelling choices, and also the mechanics were garbage. But they should be equally reviled, but it's all story execution. Anyway, we are super off topic.
To circle back to what we were talking about.
We're going in the loops at this
Just because you didn't if that's not something that you care for in your Sonic media, that's fine and understandable. But don't knock it just because it's not your cup of tea. It's still done very well.
I want to stop talking about other people's opinions and talk about ours.
I liked it.
Okay. We need to take a step back and talk about Tails and talk about Knuckles. Because Tails...
Perfect on both counts.
Oh my god, yes. For one, thank you, movie casting, for keeping Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails. Of course she did a perfect Tails. She's been voicing Tails for over a decade. She's great.
Since Sonic Generations.
Yep. Oh, damn.
Yep. Yeah, so it's been over a decade now.
And she knows her shit. And for those of you who have not seen it, there is a point in an interview where she does the Lemons monologue.
From Portal 2?
From Portal 2.
The Cave Johnson.
She does the Cave Johnson Lemon monologue in Tails' voice. It's one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. And then, God bless Kaiser Neko, he edited the footage to it. Perfect. And it's just chef kiss. It's amazing. Anyway, Colleen O'Shaughnessy is amazing.
She's a fantastic voice actress. She has been doing the voice of the character for a long time. She's it was such a joy to hear her voice at the end of the first movie, and I think we were all really apprehensive that she was going to get recast.
Because they're doing celebrity voices, and we're going to talk about Knuckles in a minute.
And it was the absolute right call to just let her do the role that she's been doing for over a decade.
And then they didn't put her name on the posters, and fans had a small riot, and then they put her name on the posters, and it's like, no, that was deserved.
As it should be.
As it should be.
She is just as important as, all the other main players. She's just as important, and so her name absolutely deserved to be on the poster.
And Tails is good in this movie. I appreciate, we kind of had to redo the backstory a little bit with everyone kind of being from relatively different dimensions. with Tails being, I saw you from my home planet, I've been watching you, I was an outcast because I'm a genetic anomaly, but you, I like you. So he's kind of a little stalkery, but also he's 8. So it's a lot more, I don't know if he's 8 in this iteration, but traditionally Tails has been like 8.
Well, so. And, just across basically every form of Sonic media, Tails just thinks the world of Sonic.
Oh my god, yes.
Sonic is his hero.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really good job of establishing that. There's some really excellent, interplay between these two characters. They have a really great dynamic with each other. Because I know that with this iteration of Sonic, he's different from his iterations in the games.
Yeah.
But their dynamic is still really spot on and really heartwarming. Yeah. It's very cute.
It is absolutely adorable. And again, watching it through the second time, you pick up on things that you didn't know the first time. There is just some good stuff. I feel like that's also spoiler. I was like, how much has been spoilers? Shit! And different backstory, it's...
I don't think that went too far.
It's too
I think
bad.
You're okay.
But it's just so well done. So much of the worry has been like, okay, this was a good iteration of Sonic. This was a great iteration of Robotnik. Holy cow.
A lot of fun.
We're introducing these 2 classic legacy characters, and we know they are going to be different in a similar way that Sonic and Robotnik were different. How are we going to execute that? They nailed it with Tails. And then we had Knuckles' introduction, and we had the part that works for Knuckles. Because we get he's a powerhouse, he's determined, he's the bruiser.
He's an honorable warrior.
He's an honorable warrior. We get all of that from the get-go. But the part where it's like, Knuckles is a balancing act. Because he's all of that. But there's also that part of him where you just kind of go, oh, honey.
He grew up alone, and he's very, very impressionable and very gullible.
Yes.
He's not, depending on the
He's not Sonic Boom idiot.
His level of intelligence varies from entry to entry in the franchise.
And this version is very much fish out of water. Didn't have a lot of people around, doesn't know how to deal with people who aren't kind of in his mindset. Mm-hmm. Very, very single-minded. And then just, let's be real, Earth culture is kind of weird. And he wound up in Earth culture Montana, and then Earth culture for a while. It's a little weird no matter where you are. So a lot of the comedy for him is just not getting the reference, not knowing when something's going on, not seeing this fairly obvious thing because it just doesn't jive with the culture that he was raised in. And the bit of the movie where you go, oh yeah, no, they got Knuckles down. This is perfect. There's a scene where we get to see him climbing up a cliff with the Knuckles, which is amazing. It's yes, they kept that. And a talk with Robotnik and a bunch of robots, and he's making all this noise about these robots will never defeat me, I will never, and then the robots are hovering to form stairs. They'll never defeat me, they'll never, they are stairs.
Okay.
And going up the stairs.
We're starting to talk about specific scenes in detail. I think we need to go ahead and cut it off and talk about and give our overall thoughts and then talk spoilers because that is technically a spoiler.
Not for plot. We already knew that Knuckles was working with Robotnik. It's a tenet of introducing Knuckles. He has to be working with the bad guy because he's been duped. And it's not, again, he is intelligent enough to function?
We're getting into specific scene details, that's what I'm saying.
Fair enough, we'll move on. Again, he's intelligent enough to function, but it's very much fish out of water humor, doesn't have context. It's, he's living on an island.
No, it's that subversion of expectations of I'm preparing for this. Oh, it's not what I thought. And it's the perfect comedic delivery, while also still being perfectly in character for Knuckles. And I feel like they maintain that very, 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 very difficult balancing act of I'm this very serious character, but I'm also not the sharpest tool in the shed for this particular circumstance.
This is a whole lot of everything that I am not primed to deal with, but I'm just going to keep doing me. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
and everything that goes with that.
I'm dealing with a lot of experiences that I would never have could have possibly prepared for, while also dealing with somebody who is actively looking to take advantage of me. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And Idris Elba does a great performance.
I liked his voice. That was fun.
Seeing it the second time, I was a little more sold on the voice choice. Still not entirely, and I think there were just a few line reads that were throwing me. Like, there's a few times where just his pronunciation of his R's has me going, you're just trying really hard not to be British right now. It's one of those things. The performance was amazing. I'm not 100% sold on the voice choice, the particular voice that he chose for this performance of Knuckles, but like the actual performance, fantastic job. So great.
It's also hard when it comes to, we were just talking about how great Colleen O'Shaughnessy's performance is.
Yes.
She's been doing the character for so long. When it comes to, iconic video game characters, it can be hard to, let go of a performance you're very fond of. And I am
Travis Willingham.
I am very, very fond of the current Sonic cast. They are all extremely talented, spot-on casting choices.
And to be clear, Travis Willingham is not currently the voice of Knuckles. It was changed. I cannot remember the name of the dude who does it, but the dude who does it currly is also really good.
Very, very
really good.
Very charming in Team Sonic Racing.
Oh my god, yes.
Great performance there. But they're all doing a tremendous job, and I also say that as somebody who has an affection for literally every era of voice casting. Like, I have my favorites, obviously, but I don't see the need to play the game of this person did it better. No, I don't like playing that game. No. Because I also am very fond of the vocal choices that they made for the films.
Yeah.
But it can be very difficult to let go of that if you have a favorite performance.
Yeah.
I think Idris Elba did a really good job.
Yes.
I thought he was good casting for what they were going for.
Yes.
I am still very happy that they kept Colleen.
Oh my god, yes.
For sure.
I feel like Tails is a hard one to nail.
Yeah. I liked Idris Elba's performance, and I also thought that they nailed that very fine line to walk with Knuckles between I am a rival character, but I'm also a source of comedic relief. I still need to be formidable, but also very funny.
Yeah.
Because the character has had over 20 years to change and evolve. And I know that there are some people who are heartbroken that in the gaming franchise he kind of got Yamcha'd. And
we kept introducing more hedgehogs with superpowers. I say that as someone whose favorite is Silver. So, you gotta talk about Sonic 06 issues. Oh, buddy.
I know we were just talking about it earlier. Shadow's my favorite, so...
Yep. Oh, wow, I'm wearing black and red.
I didn't even mean to. Oh, wow. That was a complete accident.
It was just one of those, we all have our favorites. We're all sitting here going, and it's so how are we doing in the current franchise with our favorites? And I'm like, well, time travel, alternate universe bullshit has never been easy. But I picked Silver. This is my burden.
So to wrap it up, we've been going for way longer than 10 minutes.
That's okay. We still haven't hit on Jim Carrey.
If you liked his performance in the first one, you'll like it in this one. It's fantastic.
I think there were a few bits where it was like, are you okay? How much caffeine did you have today? Are you all right? And I get that it's an escalation of the character because he's been stuck on a deserted planet for an while. And also he was a little off the rails to begin with. So there are some bits where it's like, there's no scenery left to chew, dude. Please chill.
I appreciate it,
fun, though.
I feel you were just talking about it escalating. In the first film, he is an arrogant genius that's never had anyone ever challenge him. So this overinflated ego has always gone unopposed because there has never been an opponent to one-up him in intellect or because I think he even has this monologue in the first one about how he had bullies when he was younger, but then because of the power of his intellect he was able to compensate for any physical advantages they might have had, and as a result no one could beat him. Yeah. And so that's no longer the case. His intelligence didn't save him from, the power of friendship. He got his
from a young hedgehog with heart and super speed.
He got his shit wrecked by the power of friendship, and it marooned him. And so that has to be a huge, huge blow to his ego.
Yeah.
And even though he immediately started trying to problem solve of like, okay, this is my situation. How do I rectify this and get revenge? You can definitely see a little bit of that unhinged, like, this has never happened to me before.
I'll get you, Hedgehog!
Yeah, I'll get you, Hedgehog! And I very much appreciated that particular escalation, and I felt like it was very fitting for the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Like, again, there were some bits where I'm just like, are we chewing scenery? But also like, yeah, no, this is how we get along the path to,
Also,
this makes sense.
It's Robotnik. When has he not been a drama queen?
That's fair. And I mean, I feel like there is a difference in execution between Robotnik and Eggman.
Would you say an execution?
Hey!
Oh!
Yes.
I'll see myself out.
No, get your ass back here. That was amazing. Just in terms of the franchise, because again, a lot of us grew up with Sonic Sat AM with the cartoon, where Robotnik was a legitimately menacing villain.
Yeah,
so,
Jim Cummings did a really good one.
Oh my, Jim Cummings always does a really good job. But yeah, kind of that, and then the split between when they stopped calling him Robotnik and started calling him Eggman, and we had a different character design and a different execution and a different voice.
Dreamcast era. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like in the movies, we're still kind of in Robotnik territory. And yeah, that's his name. Sonic has been calling him Eggman off and on to this point where it's interchangeable, but we're still kind of in Robotnik territory. And Robotnik territory is chaotic and kind of terrifying. It's a good energy for these films.
I don't know. I feel like they leaned into the Eggman side of things the perfect amount, because even he's making egg puns at this point. Like, I think it's fine. I think it's fully acceptable to call him Eggman throughout the film.
Let's be real, we're going to be going back and forth, because they do both.
Most of the time, it's the human characters who refer to him as Robotnik. And, Agent Stone, the military folks. I think everybody else is okay just calling him Eggman.
Or that weirdo again?
It definitely exists, but earlier today I ran into somebody took that clip where he's listening to music in the first one and just, he puts the headphones on, and instead of the music that I am the Eggman.
That's what I am.
Like, it's so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I needed this today. Thank you.
This is perfect. Yes. So yeah, good performances all around. Very solid story.
Again,
I think it was well balanced.
I do too. As a fan of the particular types of story that they went for, I think they did it justice for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to say any more because then spoilers.
We need to go into spoilers. So for everyone who wants to stay mostly at this point spoiler free and head to see the movie themselves, this is kind of where you wander off. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that fun stuff, comments, etc. And if you be like, I left in the middle because spoilers, not because I didn't.
And if you haven't seen it, let us know if we've convinced you whether or not you're going to check it out.
Yeah. Or if you're just watching this because you think it's funny and you really don't care. Like, that is legitimate. I do that a lot with other people talking about stuff. Like, am I ever going to watch this? No. Do I want to hear them talk about it? Yes.
Do I want to know the story? Absolutely. To Wikipedia.
Me and horror movies.
That's how you digested all of the Paranormal Activity franchise, right?
Yes. That and pretty much it. And a few other things, but mostly that. Wikipedia does not make the Paranormal Activity franchise any more.
To be fair, those plot synopses are probably pretty short. So
Satan shows up.
No. If you want to know more about horror movies, head on over to Silver Screams.
Anyway, so this is the point where the people who want to stay spoiler free head off. We love you guys. Spoiler people, stick around because we are going to spoil stuff in 3, 2, 1. That fucking mid-credit scene. Oh my god.
Okay, we don't necessarily need to jump right into
that, but that just to get that's where we are. That's what we're talking about. So, yeah. God damn it, this movie was amazing. This was so
I like that you jumped
fun.
to the mid-credit scene and not the climax. You skipped over the climax of the movie.
Just if we're gonna talk spoilers, like that is one of the big ones.
That is a big one.
That is one of the big ones. But yeah, the Master Emerald being like, of course the Master Emerald's gonna be a big mover and shaker in this. We have Knuckles. Which that is his like point.
Exactly. But like you can have the Master Emerald in the story and mention the Chaos Emeralds without necessarily having them factor into the plot, because when you're dealing with a franchise that spans 30 years, there can be a lot of lore to deal with. Like and when it comes to the Sonic franchise, they started doing the current kind of lore is like that started with the Dreamcast era with Sonic Adventure.
Sonic Adventure, yeah.
Which was kind of like a soft reboot, but like still a continuation of the Genesis era. When you introduce the Chaos Emeralds, there's this implication that maybe Chaos is going to factor into the story, maybe Tikal and the rest of the Echidnas and all that. And we get a little bit of that in the story with Knuckles' backstory about him being the last of the Echidnas.
I love that backstory so much because it's the flip side of the day Sonic lost Longclaw.
I liked what they did with that too. Yeah. They're two halves of the same coin.
Because it's the whole backstory for this was what long ago the Echidnas forged the Master Emerald, and it was basically like, do you want to be hella powerful? Hold the emerald. Be God. It's with the power to make thoughts into reality. So we're doing some reality bending, and of course if you're a warrior culture, you're turning thoughts into reality tends to come in the form of, what if I win this fight really hard? So the owls, because yes, there were more than one of them, kind of went, you know who should have this power? Literally nobody. Literally nobody. So it was evidently the Echidnas got all of the Chaos Emeralds and just forged them into the Master Emerald. So it's like, yeah, they're still in there somewhere, it's fine. But right now we're just, one compact, relatively easy to carry, lunchbox-sized emerald. And the owls went, we're going to take that and we're going to hide it on a completely different dimension so nobody can have it. Of course, the Echidnas did not like this.
Probably a good call.
Definitely a good call. Wars between the owls and the Echidnas for forever, and it turned out that Longclaw was the last of the owls, and Knuckles' tribe was the last of the Echidnas, because this is what happens when you wage war for fucking centuries, kids. And they, followed Sonic, found Longclaw, and went, alright, let's all get ready, let's all gear up for war, we're gonna take out the last owl, and we're gonna get the Master Emerald back. And the implication is that Longclaw took out an entire village of Echidna warriors after she'd already been shot.
Well, and that's not to say that they won't do, and Chaos does not factor into this story
at all
in any capacity. But that's not to say that they won't do, they probably won't do Chaos in the next film, but that's not to say that they won't do any Chaos lore, because there's going to be a Paramount Plus series.
With Knuckles.
Which
is where I'm thinking they will... Was it you or was it one of your brothers who said that that's probably where they'll introduce Rouge? Was that you?
No, that actually might have been one of my brothers, but possibly they could possibly introduce Rouge. If she's a jewel thief, etc., etc. Because they've already introduced the idea of other people from other planets coming to Earth looking for this stuff. Yeah. And it's also that's also not to say that they wouldn't include the backstory, because they have temples that were dedicated to protecting the Master Emerald and everything like that. And I
basically the labyrinth zone.
Yeah.
Which was hysterical.
Which was super fun.
Oh,
what a delightful sequence.
Oh my god, yes.
But also, I do think that lore, like there's, in one of the older games, there's like this mural of like Supersonic fighting a monster, and I think that's going to factor into the lore for the next film if they maintain certain backstories.
I mean, they're gonna have to adjust things anyway, but
they will definitely
always have to adjust things because this is a new continuity.
But the fight scenes between Sonic and Knuckles were great.
They were so
fun. So fun.
And the same glowy thing they do with Sonic, they also do with Knuckles. So I'm like, is this just something that people from this planet can do on occasion? Is Knuckles special among the echidnas because he can do this? Because Sonic's whole thing was that no one else could do what he did.
I mean, Knuckles says more than once that he trained his entire life for this particular purpose.
That's true. So that exchange between, I've trained my entire life, and I've had no training at all, and I'm still dating you! That's gotta be embarrassing!
Some really, really fun back and forths as
Sonic
rivals.
is such a meme lord, and it's wonderful. Oh my god.
This
kid grew up on the internet.
Grew up on the internet and like Fast and Furious movies.
What he could get of the internet through other people's experience, but like, yeah. Oh my god, they're just, the interplay is so good, and the conversation about, well, what? Because, you know, eventually get to the Master Emerald, Robotnik betrays Knuckles. Duh. He's made very, very few bones about it. And Knuckles is kind of on the, I'm not sure about this guy, but we do have a deal.
We have a deal.
Because there was a bit with Agent Stone where it's like, aren't we taking him with us? Nah, we're leaving him behind. I say we ditch him. Dishonor! Knuckles just proclaiming, dishonor! It's like,
but it also is genuinely so a bummer for him because he's like, I thought you were my friend.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Knuckles, like, sweetheart.
Oh boy, honey, no.
Sweetie, honey, no. I know that we're like jumping
around, but that's okay. If you're here, you've probably already seen the movie, or you just enjoy listening to us talk about things. So this is old hat.
Agent Stone, we stand.
They're so thirsty.
And also, honey, you can do better.
He can do so much better. He's very thirsty, and I love that when the mean bean, which I love it, by the way.
That was such a good
when it flipped into Robotnik stand mode, it was by-lighting.
Aww.
Just perfect. Perfect. I'll take it. I'm here. It's wonderful.
I also like that they very much made it canon that he's in love with
Oh
Eggman.
My god, yes. That dress-up simulator.
Well, and also just his little cappuccinos.
Yes.
His cappuccino art is so cute.
Yes, he's very good at it.
But again, honey, you can do better.
Oh my god, you can do
You can do better. You deserve better.
He is a competent man.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves better.
Competent, good-looking man.
He deserves to be the lackey of someone who's not a complete jackass.
Wondering if in the third movie he's going to be his own boss.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be interesting.
Given that we are very much in limbo as to whether Robotnik's coming back for a third movie.
Yeah,
we left it ambiguous, and then Jim Carrey said he was retiring after this. So
we'll see.
Who knows? Because that's a part that I don't think you could... you could recast it, but man, that's hard. Jim Carrey has a very specific energy.
He does.
He's very, very good. But it's very specifically like, oh yeah, this is a Jim Carrey performance.
Yeah, and I think where they leave things, you could... he could come back, or you could do a story where Robotnik is not the main antagonist because there's wiggle room now.
Yeah. There's other shit going on in this world. We have the formation of Gun. And I appreciate pointing out it's global unification, it's global something.
National defense or something
it
like
was
that.
Something. And
the global unification of nations or something like that.
Something of that, and just I don't remember which one of the human characters pointed out, gee, Gun?
Gunn, really? That was Rachel.
Like, Rachel is amazing. Rachel's wedding being populated entirely by gun agents, with her fiance being a gun agent because they were hoping to have a sting for Tom and Maddie because Sonic is
Because I guess giving them an Olive Garden gift card wasn't enough incentive to give up their alien son.
Yeah. God bless gift card guy. Why is he in charge? I'm sure he has a name, but he's just gift card guy.
No, even Tom refers to him, Olive Garden guy?
Olive Garden guy! Cancel my 5 o'clock at the Olive Garden.
And again, it's product placement. I don't hate it. It's
funny.
It's funny.
It's funny. When you're here, you're here. For anyone who's like, what the fuck? There is I made a computer watch 100 hours of Olive Garden commercials and then write an Olive Garden. It's one of those things, and it's the script is 2 pages long and completely batshit insane. And at the end, it's just Olive Garden. When you're here, you're here.
Yeah,
that's a good summary of the Olive Garden.
But talking about the wedding, oh my gosh. Such a fun sequence. Again, it feels a little out of place with all the intergalactic stuff that was going on prior.
And they telegraphed the accidental ring switch a mile away.
Oh, for sure. But didn't hate it.
Still funny. It. Still good.
Contrived rom-com stuff. Didn't hate it.
And it was, we had this really heavy, it's just come off of the avalanche, Tails is injured, Sonic is panicking, and Knuckles is kind of having he went for the fox instead of the why? You can kind of start seeing the wheels turning in his head.
The very, very slow, rusty hamster wheel moving.
I'm gonna necromancy that hamster so it can start running again, and him going, hang on. Do I have an accurate read of this situation? So we've got
the wheels might turn a little slowly, but oh my gosh, his facial expression of pure judgment. When Robotnik offhandedly goes yeah, whatever, that's what friendship gets you or something like that. It's the Marge Simpson groan of disapproval. Really appreciated it.
And again, we're also getting into, we've introduced Tails as this absolutely adorable character. He's very sweet. He's very worried about being in the field, and Sonic going, it's fine. It's I got your back. We're good. And then he gets injured, goes unconscious, because whether or not someone will fall unconscious from a blow to the head is just a fucking coin flip in this continuity.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So we have that oh no, the baby! And also Sonic panicking. So in the middle of all of this, bringing them in, them getting captured, Tom getting captured, because, he would not let this go. That is his son in the box.
Yeah.
Get his son out of the box. We have Rachel, who is absolutely furious that she has been the subject of Operation Catfish, which is incredible.
Why did they name it that?
Why? Because they knew. And Maddie, who is they took my husband, they took my son, and they took, I don't know, my son's friend?
My son's weird friend.
My son's weird friend that he just made, but that's okay. We're very concerned about this injured animal human person.
I mean, she is a vet. So.
She is a vet. And so the two of them teaming up to be all right, I'm going to get in there and get them out. And Rachel going, I have a word for my fiance, and that word is murder. And I'm just I love her. It was so easy to dislike her in the previous movie because her whole thing was just Tom's not good enough for you. You should divorce him.
Tom. Yeah.
Her turning very justified rage onto the person that she fell in love with and was going to get married to, and then the whole thing was a bait and switch. It's just get him, girl. They queued up Barracuda, and I lost my mind.
Cool girls don't look at explosions.
Cool girls don't look at explosions. Just this entire sequence. And it's definitely when you get about the 5th minute into the sequence that you're we might have lost the plot a little, but my God, this ride. I am enjoying this ride. Yeah. Please give me more of Rachel on a vengeance
trip. A badass walking away from that explosion.
She is
so fun.
Amazing.
Again, this is what we were talking about with all of the performances being top notch, because all the human characters really do give it 110%.
Oh my God, yes.
It's great.
Even just the bits with yelling at the pastor, "Are you an agent?" and him opening the Bible to show his face inside. Just the expression on his face. Like,
sorry, lady.
I have enough lines to get my SAG card and a comedy beat. That's all I need. It's like, and you played the hell out of it, good sir.
I do want to circle back real quick because we just talked about the wedding, and like it might have felt out of place because of the runtime, but like it's still highly entertaining. But I want to circle back to the scene in Siberia where Sonic and Tails go into the bar. Looking for shelter from the storm while they wait until they can get their sensors working again.
To go get the compass, to go find the emerald to get to the house that Jack built.
Exactly. The reason I want to bring it up is because the analog in the previous movie
was to that the Texan bar.
Was that rough and tumble bar, biker bar.
Biker bar, yeah.
And
I just think Texan because it had the bowl and it had the Western bar. That's what I was thinking of.
My biggest issue with the first film is when it leans more into being a 90s kids movie than it does a Sonic movie.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I very much enjoyed the first film, but that to me is like the biggest flaw with it, is when it leans into those tropes and when it talks down to its audience as opposed to just letting it be a Sonic adventure film. And I mean adventure with a lowercase a. That being
we all
said,
saw SA2 on the helicopter. Let's be real.
We did.
None of us.
Report status of captured hedgehog aboard. Over. With the difference with this scene is that it was like a kids movie moment with like, we're gonna solve our problem with a dance-off. Like,
it was hysterical.
It was hysterical. And also, if you're gonna be one of those people that stands up and goes like, this shouldn't be in a Sonic movie, I would like to present the argument that that entire sequence was basically an episode of Sonic Boom. Like, down to the, like, no joke, beat for beat, it felt like Sonic Boom. In terms of its delivery.
Hilariously, all we were missing was Knuckles.
Like, looking at the various people, like, they opened the door to the bar and they keep seeing these very intimidating bar patrons, and then they look over and see the little old lady and they sigh with relief. And then it cuts back to her and she pulls up that the skull and crossbones
in her knitting.
Like, no joke. This was an episode of Sonic Boom inserted into Sonic 2.
And I loved it.
Yes.
Just cutting back to the granny again, and she puts the skull and crossbones over her face, and there's holes for her eyes. Like,
even solving our problems with a dance-off. That happened more than once in Sonic Boom. Yeah. Because Sonic Boom is a sitcom.
Sonic Boom is a sitcom with 11-minute long episodes, and it's on Hulu, and you all should watch it.
You should all watch it.
It's absolutely amazing.
It is a delight. If you watched maybe the first couple episodes and didn't really give it a chance after that, I implore you to go back. I implore you to go back.
There is some fucking gold later on in season 1 and all throughout season 2.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
It is a delight.
The puppy board game episode.
There are so many good ones.
There are so many good ones.
Anyway, I'm just saying that I very much appreciated what was essentially a Sonic Boom episode just inserted into the movie.
And it also worked as an exercise in trust with Sonic and Tails. With them, like, okay, getting into each other's groove, working together. Like, we got some of that earlier, but this is more of the budding friendship, the being able to read each other and work with each other. Like, this was a good scene to establish that for them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So
this is also where we got, everyone calling them freaks, and you kind of see Tails going, and then you find out a little later, like, oh yeah, he kind of got kicked out of his village for being a freak.
For being different.
For being genetically different, for having 2 tails. It's like, they thought my tails were weird. It's like, oh, buddy.
But, and that's why in this continuity, why he thinks the world of Sonic, because Sonic is different too, but can also do amazing things and is a hero. and that again Tails just thinks the world of.
Yeah.
And so their friendship is super cute in that moment. And so sorry, I didn't mean to derail the conversation. I just really wanted to point out how Sonic Boom-esque that whole bar scene was.
Oh my god, yes. Like, all of that was great. The snowboarding bits were very, very good. Just kind of interspersing between a little bit of comedy and also that high stakes action.
There were a couple really fun Sonic Adventure just like wink and nods. Like that opening scene in Seattle when the dynamite goes down and so like the sewers explode with water and like shoot up the manholes. It's like that's right out of Sonic Adventure when the opening of Sonic Adventure.
City Escape.
And
City Escape I'm thinking was actually Adventure 2.
Yeah, City Escape was more in the first one because he was running around San Francisco. Which was where Sonic Adventure 2 was developed. Like, that was their San Francisco office at the time. And so they pulled in a lot of inspiration from the city. And that's why a lot of Sonic Adventure 2 is so San Francisco vibe-wise. But then there is a scene in Sonic Adventure where you go up to these icy mountains and you get to snowboard as Sonic. And, like, there's this giant sequence where he gets to snowboard down. And so it's just, it's a lot of stuff like this where if you're not familiar with the games, it's enjoyable adventure stuff. But if you are familiar with the games, it's like, they're doing the thing! Yeah. They're doing the thing that I recognize! I love it! They're catering to me as a fan!
They throw a lot for people who are familiar with the games and who are enjoying it. So, it's
one of those things where it's fan service, but it doesn't feel like pandery fan service.
Yeah!
At least I didn't feel like it was pandery fan service.
It's because they don't take time out of the narrative to go, it's woven in seamlessly. And again, it's the sort of great thing where it's like, if it hadn't been there, or if you don't know it's there, you can still sit here and go, this is hysterical. He's snowboarding on a broken robot.
He even does the Sonic Adventure pose during the dance off.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cute.
Yep. So it's all these little things where if you know it doesn't go out of its way to be like, hey, we did a thing. Again, you look at the helicopter and part of the serial number is SA2 painted on it. Like, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, you're not missing anything. Except for the end credits scene. Again, that's one of those where it's like, oh boy. That's where the theater screamed.
So after Robotnik's sudden but inevitable betrayal, and he gets the Master Emerald.
I do appreciate that we have that mutual scene of Sonic and Knuckles saving each other from drowning.
Like that too.
And the conversation about, you said we lost everything on the same day. How did you pick up? How did you keep going? It's like, well, I got new friends. I found another family. Like, you can always keep going. You can always find a new person to care about.
You don't have to be alone anymore.
You don't have to be alone anymore. And you just like, found family. It's my true.
It's a very sweet sentiment because Sonic spent so much of the first movie feeling lonely.
Yeah. Feeling if something goes wrong, I have to be able and ready to pick up and run again. So yeah, a lot of the first movie was, no, I belong here, these are my people, I will stand my ground and fight. And then this is like, you don't have to do it alone. God bless Knuckles, he homeschooled himself from the age of like 8.
And it's one of those things where it wasn't needed in the original game continuity because their characterizations were completely different.
Yeah.
But it 100% works for this characterization and these interpretations of these characters. Like, it's still in line with those story beats, but it fits these versions of the characters.
And it also breaks Knuckles a little bit from the warrior mindset, because it was like, why did you save me? Well, you saved me and it gave you a tactical advantage that I have to figure out. Like, no, I just couldn't let you die. Like, oh, it's just one of those like, why? Again,
but I've been trying to destroy you all day.
Again,
explain yourself,
the wheels are turning. Brief intermission, had to take care of a thing. We're back. God, this movie is so good. Just those character beats were absolutely incredible, and just a good thing to have in the story and just in the movie in general, because this is a movie aimed at kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's...
People forget that sometimes.
This is very much aimed at a younger audience. And so that is a good lesson to have in there because let's be real, not every kid has a nuclear family. Not every kid has not experienced a tragedy. People deal with different things at different points in their lives. So that might be a message that someone in the audience needed to hear.
And older fans can sometimes be persnickety when the thing for kids doesn't specifically cater to them.
I don't want to talk about other people's opinions.
You're right. No.
Our opinions matter, damn it.
I wholeheartedly agree. I hope that when I have kids someday, that I very much look forward to the day where I can sit down and watch these movies with them.
We'll be beaming things directly into our brains at that point. Technology. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm very much looking forward to that day because that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And so we have this beautiful, wild climax of, all right, we need to learn to work together in order to take down this gigantic freaking robot that Robotnik has built with the help of the Master Emerald.
Sonic Heroes.
I can't hear that without hearing Dan Abnett screaming, no! At the end of it. Watching Game Grumps play Sonic Heroes was beautiful and terrifying. It was so great. But yeah, it's so good to see this big, ridiculous robot with a big, ridiculous mustache.
The Death Egg robot. Yeah.
Oh, stomping around downtown Green Hills. It's so good to see. I mean, they showed bits of it in the trailer, so you knew it was coming. But this is what Dr. Robotnik does when he can make his thoughts into reality. He just makes bigger robots and evidently builds them with auxiliary non-magic power sources somehow. But
contingency plan. You always have to have a contingency plan when you're that smart.
I don't know how Agent Stone came out of this without a concussion because boy did he get banged around a lot.
Alive at all. I'm very glad he did.
Dude got hit on the head extremely hard.
He got electrocuted, and then he got hit on the head extremely hard, and then the robot blew up.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those continuities where it's they survive as much as they need to for the drama to work. Injury very much works on how dramatic does it need to be? Does this person need to be unconscious for this part? Can they a lot of people just kind of spontaneously recover, and that's fine. It's just one of those
Well, I also appreciate any media, whether it's Pacific Rim or whether it's this instance of the Death Egg, where basically somebody pilots a giant mech. G Gundam style. Yes. Where it's they're just moving inside the cockpit.
This was a G Gundam setup.
Oh, it was
G Gundam. Great. It was great.
It was fantastic.
But yeah, so the Death Egg was a lot of fun.
Death Egg was
a lot of fun.
That little reference to Genesis box art with the
instruction manual.
So cute.
He made an instruction manual for the Death Egg to give to Agent Stone so he could read it and be better at his job in the corner making the weapons work. And just amazing.
Again, Agent Stone, you are precious. You deserve better.
You deserve so much better. And he survived this fucking movie. Hooray! You can see him in the post-credits scene going,
but you know who almost didn't survive? Sonic himself. After he and Tails and... First of all, Tails, because he gets injured at some point, actually does hijack a biplane. And so you get to see him flying around in the tornado for a little bit.
It's just the bits with, alright, Sonic's gonna distract him because he's fucking obsessed with Sonic, and you guys sneak in and do something. Tails sneaking in and being the distraction with the multiple holograms, and Knuckles, I too have a hologram! Oh no!
Knuckles has
I love you, you're so
fantastic terrible. Line deliveries in the climax. Go to your inevitable death with honor!
We gotta work on your pep talks, and my revenge will be swift and when you least expect it. Just You're such a weirdo. I love
There was some really great writing for Knuckles.
My god, it was absolutely incredible. It was so good. But yeah, it punches the Master Emerald out of Eggman, which is how does Eggman still have organs at this point.
There are spikes on those gloves.
There are spikes that are hard enough for him to be able to rock climb with those gloves, and yet again, this is one of those. It's survivable. It's a drama.
He punched the god diamond out of him.
He punched the god diamond out of Robotnik. And then somehow the robot gets back up because we have that backup system.
I will say, I love that shot of like Sonic trying to get up with like the death egg in the background with the red eyes.
Oh, good.
Super good.
And just trying to be like, okay, I got the Master Emerald. I need to do something. I need to save us. Because at that point, like, Tom and Maddie are there trying to get him out. And it was very much, let's go get our son.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got the Master Emerald, but it breaks apart in his hands.
And you see shards of the Master Emerald, and the Chaos Emeralds fall out. And that's the point where, again, if you know anything about Sonic, you're sitting there going...
And the Chaos Emeralds got a mention earlier in lore backstory portion of the story.
Again, they took the Chaos Emeralds and they forged them into the Master Emerald. Yeah. We kind of Voltroned this together.
But then, they're clearly trapped, about to get stomped, and they have a very, like, precious family, I love you moment. And sure enough, the thing happens! Supersonic. And
looked good.
Looked great. Can you imagine what Supersonic in the old design would have looked like? I'm terrified. Here's the thing. With the old design, they would have been too afraid to do Supersonic.
Yeah.
And like, one of the joys of, like, actually seeing Supersonic on the big screen is that, like, I've been a Sonic fan for over 20 years now. Because I grew up, we had a Super Nintendo growing up. I didn't get to play a Sonic game until I got a GameCube. And I got a GameCube partially because I wanted to play Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah. But, like, it's just one of those things where it never ever crossed my mind that I'd get to see Supersonic in a movie. Like, ever.
Just watching him go, tearing up the death egg, stopping the giant robot punches just by...
Exactly. It's one of those, especially
phenomenal
because, like,
cosmic power, itty bitty hedgehog.
It's one of those things where film presents infinite possibilities for storytelling. But we've seen very bad executions of these things that we love. Like, we were talking about Dragon Ball Evolution coming back from the theater again the other night, where it's like that was a very bad execution of something that could have been amazing. And seeing Supersonic on the big screen, I'm like, that is, like, what it should be to, like, see the thing that you love come to life on the big screen in an adaptation like that. And so it was phenomenal. I was just like, between Sonic 2 and, like, Spider-Man No Way Home, like, these are movies I never thought would exist. And I'm just so happy to be alive. And now they're here. And it's just so, like,
oh my god, it's happening.
As a fan, it's extremely rewarding.
Oh, yeah. So and this was executed beautifully. And again, we have the bits where, okay, it's over, the Eggbot took a dive, Robotnik took a dive with it. How did anyone survive this? We just don't know.
I did like one of the last things he said was just like, oh, it's like that. I guess we're not friends. It's like... That is just such a Robotnik thing to say.
Hella last words, friend, but okay.
No, it's just such a perfect encapsulation of, like, the Robotnik.
Jim Carrey Robotnik.
No, just the Robotnik Sonic dynamic of Sonic defeating him and Eggman being like, oh, it's like that, huh? Just being so indignant, but also, like, kind of has his feelings hurt because he doesn't want to admit it, but he and Sonic are friends.
Well, and everyone was like, hey, did you know that was a reference to... Yes, it's a reference to Sonic 06, and also evidently Sonic X. It's not the first time we've done a whole lot of damage and then just, to finish knocking it over.
Yes.
But yeah,
excellent references all around.
Oh, yeah. And the follow-up with that's not the Sonic you knew. He has been overtaken. That uses the phenomenal cosmic power to summon a chili dog.
That's also a reference, actually. It's a little bit more of a deep cut, and to the Fleetway comics, the UK comics, because in the UK comics that were going on at the same time as the Archie comics back in the day, Supersonic was essentially an evil alter ego.
Damn.
And so it actually is kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to long-term fans again.
Oh my god. People who know their shit working on this movie.
It's almost like this movie was a labor of love from people who cared.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just he's no longer the Sonic. He is exactly the Sonic.
Never mind. Disregard what I just said.
Knuckles just like, well, okay. He sent the Chaos Emeralds off into God knows where. So they're out there somewhere.
Well, it wasn't explicit that they got scattered to the winds.
He kind of sent them into the sky and they disappeared with a flash, so who knows?
Yeah, it could be that they're just within the Master Emerald again, since Knuckles reforged it. It could be...
just reforged it from what was left, though.
Yeah, or it could be that they did the thing where, like, kind of like the Dragon Balls and, like, the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic X, they got scattered to the four corners of the wind, and the part of the next movie will be collecting them from wherever they ended up.
Or that might be part of the Paramount series, because we're getting the Knuckles series, you know.
Come on, Chaos, come on, Chaos, come on, Chaos!
Just backdoor introduction for Rouge. Come on, just bring her in.
Come on,
just like, who are you? Doesn't matter.
Pretty please,
she's
pretty
great.
please,
She's great.
Pretty please. Rouge and the Chaotix. That could be so fun.
They gotta get Keith to do Vector again.
I'm getting greedy. I'm getting very...
But it would be so good!
I'm getting very greedy.
It would be so good! Yeah, which brings us to have our end of like, all right, we're a family, we're playing baseball, it's a good time.
Maddie and Tom have decided to adopt 2 more children.
So we started with like a 14-year-old, and now we have an 8-year-old, and I think Knuckles is like 18. We see him older, when they're kids, we have like really bitty Sonic and slightly older Knuckles. So there's a few years age difference. But it's like, technically you're old enough to be on your own, but you should.
I think in the games they're either 1 or 2 years apart.
Yeah.
I have the Sonic Heroes manual, I can tell you.
I don't think it's the same. No. Anyway, it's basically turned into great Sonic has friends. He's got it, because we had a little bit with Tom talking about like, he's been lonely for so long, like I want him to make friends.
Yeah.
I want him to have a ride or die group.
He says partway through the movie he wishes Sonic had a squad.
And now we have the squad.
And now it's Team Sonic. It's so cute. Also,
it's hysterical. What's ice cream? Does it have grapes in it?
It's just very, very cute too, because very early in the film, Sonic is he's trying to hide the fact that he's like fighting
running
crime.
off to be a superhero.
And he realizes he has some money stuck to his shoe from the bank robbery that he kind of foiled. Kind of foiled, but also, disregarding.
Broke it or made it better? Both?
Yes. And he opens up the drawer, and it's something I didn't pick up on the first time, but there's a drawing of him, like, wearing baseball gear, and, it's clearly a child's drawing, sort of thing. And, it's a callback to that moment in the first film where he's playing baseball by himself. And it's just very cute that he doesn't have to play baseball by himself anymore. It's just, it's a very nice way to round out, again, this particular story with these iterations of the characters. It's very cute.
And we are introducing Knuckles to the concept of having fun.
I have conquered the first base!
The second base has also been conquered! It's just like, you're so cute, and I worry about you so much. You do not know how to chill out, and it's great. He doesn't know what ice cream is, but somehow he knows what sprinkles are. I'll take it. It's just, it's one of those
threw in that he likes grapes. Oh, bless him.
The deepest of cuts. So it's a cute ending, and it's like, yes, found family, I'm here for it, let's go.
And then they almost immediately forget about the Master Emerald and have to go back and get it.
Because they're keeping it in the cooler with the sports drinks. Because that's where it goes.
I mean, again, they're going to have a Knuckles Paramount Plus series because he is a little bit older and because he has been a lone wolf for so long. And let's be honest, there's only so much room in that house.
There's only so much room in the entire town of Green Hills, Montana.
True.
Having lived in a small town, in several small towns in several mountain states. Yeah. There's a reason Sonic runs all the way to Seattle to do his hero.
To do crime.
People like, you don't know. I lived in Great Falls for years. I do know.
But I could definitely see it being a situation where Knuckles, he's like, I'm gonna go do my own thing for a while.
Yeah, you can only do base of balls for so long before you're like, there's gotta be other stuff. Or like, if the Master Emerald gets broken again, or because that is this thing's role in life is to get broken.
If the Chaos Emerald, yeah, because Knuckles has done that, just smash and scatter to the wind. Either needing to break the Master Emerald up and send the shards everywhere to keep it safe, or if the Chaos Emeralds did in fact get scattered to the wind, being like, okay, I've taken enough time, I'm going to go off on my own to recover those. I'll catch you guys later. I know where they are. I've got an internal radar because, like, don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's part of what I do. We're good. We're good. We're good. You don't have one of them? Weird! Well, I do. So.
Very weird. All right. Later.
Bye. They literally called to me. I need to go.
I'm going to go get them, and then I shall defeat you in our next match of Base of Ball. So I can see him going off on his own.
I doubt he's got that radar because he would have been able to find the Master Emerald without the compass. Anyway.
Magic, hand wavy, whatever.
Magic, I swear to God. The owls just hit it.
Or maybe that'll be a plot point. They'll use the compass to find the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, maybe. It had all of them on it.
Yeah. But,
and we have our mid-credits scene. We're
cleaning up.
We get nobody could have survived that fall. And then right behind him, Stone, like,
pulling off his mask for the audience.
For the audience.
Because,
and like, hey, when we were deleting Robotnik off of our files, we found one over 50 years old. It was buried in a black site.
It was Shadow. Really funny. I wish I could have seen the look on my face, but you said I sat up.
The second it said 50 years ago, you were like, and that is the point where I went, oh, it's Shadow.
Yeah.
That was what twigged me onto.
You seeing my reaction is what made you go, this is what it's going to be.
Because they definitely do. It's like, we still have the voiceover between Olive Garden guy and this random gun agent talking about this and having the realization. But we cut to that black site, we pull up the tube, and Shadow wakes up. It's just like...
Wakes up and he has this same, electrical energy that both Knuckles and Sonic seem to have.
Can you imagine what he would have looked like in the bad models?
It upsets me.
I did it just for that expression.
But Shadow, again, just like Supersonic, never thought I'd see Shadow on the big screen. Even now, I'm still like, I'm very surprised because it feels a little too early to introduce Shadow without introducing
done Metal.
Chaos.
We don't like Metal, Chaos,
Amy
Omega.
Rose, yeah. Not Gamma
or Omega.
Yeah, exactly. It's
both of them.
It's one of those things where it feels a little early to introduce him if you're familiar with the specific continuity of the games. However, given how much setup they did in this movie with Gun and everything like that, and all the nods and winks to Sonic Adventure 2, it actually does make perfect sense. Even with the setup of the Long Claw and company on another planet coming down and dropping off the Master Emerald here and
making an entire underwater labyrinth for it, okay.
It actually does make a lot of sense because
they probably used the Master Emerald to make that whole thing.
Professor Gerald Robotnik did a lot of research on the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds, and it's heavily implied that they based Shadow's design on the prophecy of Supersonic fighting Chaos. And that's why the Bio-Lizard looks like Chaos, and that's why Shadow looks like Supersonic. Yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's like, it's not explicitly laid out in Sonic Adventure 2 or any of the subsequent games, but it's clearly there if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's one of those very, very clever bits of storytelling from those games. And so, if that's the route these movies want to go, the groundwork is there.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job of laying the tracks for all of that, if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and we've got Gun, we've got Sonic, we've got Super Sonic, we've got the Chaos Emeralds,
and we almost like humans are important to Shadow's backstory as well.
And we have the traveling with rings and the comment of, yeah, this is how all civilized races do it. Mm-hmm. What do you mean humanity can't do this yet? So, what's to say that wasn't going on 50 years ago or before? What's to say that chaos isn't from another world and came either by accident or on purpose? So we've got the world building here for it. A different execution, but we do have the world building.
Yeah, slightly different. Obviously, the continuity from the games isn't going to be one-to-one. But again, for this version of all of these characters, things are in place to do some really interesting and cool stuff.
I really want to know.
I'm just so happy to see my boy.
I really want to know who they're going to cast for Gerald and for Maria.
Yeah, and Shadow. There's been a lot of talk about, like, cast Keanu Reeves. I'm sitting here.
You know, I'd buy it.
I wouldn't hate Keanu Reeves. I'm also sitting here going, cast David or Kirk or Jason.
But I'm also thinking, they have a younger Sonic, and that's changed things. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, because he's got that rivalry with Shadow in the games, but it's kind of implied that they are 50 years of cryogenic sleep, give or take, around the same age. So I'm wondering, if we skew for a younger Shadow to keep that rivalry intact,
maybe,
how does that change things for him?
How does that change that dynamic? What does their dynamic look like? In this next movie, and that's a great question.
And can we not talk about any of the aliens or any of the other stuff introduced in the Shadow the Hedgehog game? We don't need that.
Just not have any of that, please.
We don't.
He doesn't need a gun. He doesn't need a motorcycle. It's good. It's fine.
I would laugh if we had a bit of him riding the motorcycle in the next movie, just as kind of a, hey!
There was a bit in one of the comics where he's like, this is a standard issue gun vehicle. They're like, but why are you riding it, and why does it have a custom paint job? And he was just like, I like this bike. And I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. That's the comics
acceptable.
Taking something stupid from the games and making it endearing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, despite some of the mandates that are in the comics right now, no thanks to a certain someone, they're still pretty fucking good.
Yeah, the IDW comics are really good. I need to get caught up.
Oh my god, yes.
But I have complete and total faith in this particular team. Sonic Adventure 2 isn't just my favorite Sonic game, it's my favorite game, period. I don't often admit that because...
I don't think you've ever told me that.
I don't often admit it because it's not cool to admit that that's your favorite game, because it was not received critically even at the time that it came out, and there are definitely a lot of aspects of it that have not aged well, but it's my go-to. It's my go-to game whenever I'm feeling sad. Like, I replay it and it cheers me up. Yeah. And just generally speaking, like, it's my favorite game. I've played better games, certainly, but it's my favorite game of all time. I have complete and total faith in the current team that made Sonic 2 to bring my favorite, to do a loose adaptation of my favorite game. Yeah, I just do.
Let's do it. Let's go. I am looking forward to this. So yes, good movie. We'll probably see it again. Let's be real. I still have enough rewards points for another ticket. Do it. It's a good time. That's what you're spending your rewards points on? Tickets are $20 in Los Angeles. You bet your ass. That's what I'm spending my rewards points on.
It brought me a lot of joy also to see both people my age and children cheering at the exact same things. Like Supersonic and seeing Shadow. So yeah, this movie was a delight. I had a good time. It's not perfect like the first one, but it is a gift if you are a fan.
Yeah, it's a good time. You should watch it. And if you did that thing where you haven't seen any of the Sonic movies and you're just here to listen to us talk because you find that fun, we love you too. You should watch the first one and then this one.
Yes.
Because it's still fun even if you know all of the plot beats. And there are definitely some bits we didn't talk about that are great. Mm-hmm. We're running out of memory space on the camera, so we need to
wrap up.
You know, never mind that this video is 80 minutes long.
And completely unstructured.
Well, yeah, that's the point. You think people come to this channel for structure?
Sometimes.
Why? Who are you people?
Sometimes we can.
What do you want from me?
It's together. But anyway,
that's different from having structure. Anyway, yes.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I also have a YouTube channel called Silver Screams where we talk about horror things. I have a podcast called No Love Lost where my co-host Will Link loves Lost and I don't, and we talk about it. We're also members of Rooster Teeth Radio where we talk about Rooster Teeth related things, so go check those out.
Those are fun. I'm Katie. You can follow me all over the social medias and on Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on a weekly show called Nighttime at the Nerd Bar where my co-host Carrey and I talk about all of the nerdy things. I absolutely talked about this movie on there. We cover games, we cover anime, we're doing weekly recaps currently, we are finishing up Ranking of Kings, and we're talking about Spy Family because Spy Family is amazing. And yeah, join us. It's at 7:30 p.m. on the Fanversation YouTube channel. I'll link it down there. It's a good time. Yes, we don't take requests, we take commissions. All that information is down there along with the Patreon and the Ko-fi if you want to throw a couple bucks our way, have a good time. Yeah. I'm sure there's other stuff, but right now it's just wear a mask, get vaccinated, you know, take appropriate precautions for your area and your comfort, and take care of each other because that's how we're going to get through this is basic human compassion and taking care of each other. Take care of yourself, love each other, remember that we love you, as always. And thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow.
Same game, different ends. Completely different parts. Bookending.